Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jay Albrecht from Job Cost Inc. This is me. You'll see me briefly, and I'll turn that off. But you should all see a screen full of ducks. You're all connected to my workstation, which is a PC. But you can run our software in a variety of environments. You'll see that later. Our company has been in business since 1979, which is a very long time for the software business. We specialize in automating construction and service companies. We have two main products. Today we're looking at Mobile Resource Manager, and that product has a office component that you would use in the office to enter in work orders, schedule people, small jobs, big jobs, 1-hour job, or a 10-year job. You can also schedule people as well as equipment as well as subcontractors. So we'll see that in a little while. Then there's an office component, and then there is a field component that's optional, but that's obviously a hot area people want to go paperless, and part of that is to empower your people to receive data from the office and send data to the office via a smartphone or tablet, Apple or Android. And we'll get back to that in a minute. So, this tablet, I'll turn on the camera for a minute. I'm going to be using a real Samsung 7-inch tablet that's connected via this cable to my screen. I could use also a cell phone or Apple as well. So to get started, first I'm going to focus in on the desktop portion that you can run. Now you can actually run this from a desktop or a tablet, depending upon the screen size. You can even actually run it from a phone, but usually a phone's a little small. Now this is a multi-user system connected to a Microsoft SQL database, which means you can handle large amounts of data. You're not going to outgrow it no matter how big we have customers with hundreds of service technicians and tens of thousands of records. We've got some clients that have records going back 20, 25 years. Now when I log in, it determines what I'm allowed to do. So this is the full screen or the desktop version. This part requires internet access. And when I logged in, it can take me to whatever screen I want, but this is one of our most popular screens. This is what we call a multi-day dispatch board, or a week at a glance. So I've got days across the top and my resources down the left. Now this particular dispatch board, and everything on the board are appointments or that have been scheduled, time cards, appointments, site visits that have been scheduled. Down below here, we have jobs that have not yet been scheduled. So these are future jobs. So this is one view of the data, but you can actually have many, many different dispatch boards. This one was showing people. This one shows equipment and trucks. This one shows equipment, trucks, subcontractors, and people. So there's different amounts of resources. Also across the top, I've got this as a week at a glance, but I could see 2 weeks at a glance, or 4 weeks at a glance, or just 2 days. So here's a dispatch board just showing what's going on today and tomorrow. Also, instead of days across the top, you could look at it by the hour. So here it's just today, and my demo is set to start at 7 a.m., so I'm showing by the hour what calls have been scheduled. Now also, on your people, my resources right now, I've got a bunch of dead presidents here. On each person, you can set up a skill set. So we can go into Abe Lincoln. He's in the Atlanta territory, and he has these skills. He's got airport clearance. He can work at the airport. He can do HVAC. He can do plumbing. He speaks Spanish, and he's a level 1 guy. So over here, I have a dispatch board set up by skill. So these are the people that can work at the airport. These are the people who speak Spanish. So or you similarly can set up people that do plumbing, electric, or whatever skill set someone needs. So when you got a call that needs a certain skill set, you can set that up. You could also do it by territory. These are my resources in the East Territory. These are my resources in the West Territory. So there's many different ways to slice and dice the data. Now we'll get back to this in a minute, but a little bit of background. When we install you, we're going to load from your accounting software all your customers. Now these are all your billing addresses. So I'm just using an example here, ABC Property Management, and I've got their billing address as a PO box. Now underneath this customer, I can have an infinite number of physical locations that we go to. So this one billing address has 3 work sites. And if I go into building 1, this is the information about, excuse me, this particular work site, including do not send Joe. So they don't like Joe at this site. That has a power problem, passcode to get into the property. Also, their preferred technician is Abe Lincoln. Now that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to send Abe Lincoln. He's just their favorite guy. Now a third level, and all of our clients use this with one customer, many locations. Now for a residential customer, it might be a residence in just one location. Or if they've got 2 houses, you know, they got their main house and a cabin or something, or a beach house, you know, that could be one billing with multiple locations, even though they're residential. Further, at every location, you can set up a profile of all the equipment that is at that location. So currently, ABC Building 1, I've entered in here 6 different pieces of equipment that are in our database. Now these may or may not be under contract. You may have never serviced this, or you may have serviced it 5 times. So, you know, when you do a service call, you can then go in and keep track of which equipment you're working on, which we'll see in a minute. So this is a profile. Now, not all of our clients use this, and some of our clients build this over time. One of the benefits of our field app is when the first time your guy goes out on site, he can survey the site and enter in real time all the equipment that's at that site. So now next time you go out to that site, you've got a better idea of what equipment is what you're running into. So we're going to go back to the dispatch board, and we're going to process a call. So the phone rings, okay, and the caller is Sally, and she says, okay, I'm at ABC. Now I could look it up by name, by address, by phone number, even by serial number. You give me a serial number, I can tell you where it is. So let's say I just want to look it up by name, and if I just type the letter A, it brings up all the locations that I've ever been to that start with the letter A. Now, if it's not in my database, then I can enter it in as a new location and a new customer, or a new location for an existing customer. Now I'm going to go back in here and put ABC, and now it brought up 3 locations that start with ABC. So I'm going to select Building 1. So we now have filled in information about this location. Notes about the location, directions to the location, and then also information about the customer, ABC Property Management. Now we can also have some pop-up warnings. If you can mark a customer if you want to, you know, do some kind of warnings. But in this case, I'm just have it brought up the standard thing. So right now the call is unassigned. It logs the date and time of call. Now everyone is connected. They've got different people around the country. I'm in the central time zone, so that's my time. ask what department. So one of our things is once you've got this data in here, a lot of people want to sort it out by department. Some people have a service department and an installation department, or they've got an electric department and a plumbing department, or they've got a commercial department and a residential department. So you can make up, whenever you see a pull down like this, you can make up your choices. So I'm just going to put this call in the service department. Then we've got call types. Again, you can make up these to be whatever you want. A generic troubleshoot, or I'm going to do system down. Okay, so whatever, you know, their entire system is down, whatever that means. You can assign a salesman. You could assign a priority. So let's make this urgent. You could assign a project number. Now this could be your number, your project number, your job number, or it could be the client's, ABC Property Management's job number. Okay. You could put a budget hours. You could put a customer PO. So, you know, I could put in Sally here. Now these fields can be relabeled to be whatever you want. Notice that says user date 1, user date 2. So maybe they've got, you know, you want to relabel that to say, you know, due date or target date. Okay. So I've relabeled various fields here, and you can do that. It doesn't take a programmer. You have the ability to do that. So site contact. So Sally's calling the problem in, but when I get on site, I'm supposed to see Fred. Okay. And down here, I have an unlimited description. So system, you know, will not power on, it is dead. Okay. Or whatever the sad story is. Now, when I save this, the system assigns a call tracking number. So think of this just like FedEx or UPS. They track millions of things a day. Everything has a tracking number. Now, in this scenario, we're entering this as a service call ready, you know, ready. But many of our clients will enter in when somebody calls in and says, hey, I need a quote or I need somebody to come out and look things over. So instead of the service department, I could assign this to the sales department. And maybe I could make it a site survey. So maybe we've got to go out, survey it, look it over, and come back and do a proposal. Or maybe they say, no, just give me a proposal over the phone, so I could go put it in the sales department and make it a proposal. Although not, you know, probably 2/3 of our clients do proposals in here. So let's say I save this, it's a proposal. I could go in and I'm just going to make up a little quickie proposal where I've got some, let's say 4 hours of labor, and I've got, I'm going to add another thing in. I'm going to put some material, and I put $777 worth of material, and then I'm going to add a trip charge. So what I'm doing in the office is I've put together a little quickie proposal. Now this is what we call a detailed proposal, where it's showing each line item in a price. Suppose the customer doesn't care about the detail, they just want the bottom line. I'm going to print it out now as a total only. So I'm showing the detail, but not line item prices. I'm just giving them the bottom line. So a lot of times you need to send them something in order to get a PO in order to do the work. So I could take this proposal. Now I could print it to paper, or I could click email, and it's going to attach it as an email PDF to my email going to the John Doe customer, whatever the customer's email. So I click send, and away it goes. Okay. Now I was doing this in the office, but you can also do this from our field app, which you'll see later. So anyway, instead of a proposal, I'm going to move this to the service department. Let's say they go ahead, and I'm going to change it back to being the system down. Now that call has been logged here on our list. If I sort it by date, it goes at the bottom. If I sort it by priority, it's going to move to the top. Now, there are many ways to schedule, but the easiest way is what we call drag and drop. So suppose I promise the customer, okay, we'll have somebody there Friday afternoon, but I don't know today who I'm going to send. So notice I've got a technician called unassigned. So I'm going to take that call, drag it up, put it on Friday, unassigned at, let's say, 3 p.m. So I've booked it for Friday at 3, but I don't know who I'm going to send. Now, if I knew, I could move it to Saturday. Or instead of Saturday unassigned, it looks like Abe Lincoln's going to be available this afternoon. So I'm going to take that call and assign it to Abe Lincoln today. Just all I'm doing is clicking, holding it, moving it around. Now that's on the daily board, on the week at a glance. If I go to today's board, it's on there. Now let's say instead of 3 o'clock, Abe Lincoln, I could move it to 4 o'clock George Washington. So it's very easy to move things around. Now I can communicate out to the guy in the field several ways. Even if he has a dumb cell phone, I could send Abe a text message. So, and you can format what goes in this message. So now that's one way communication from the office to the field. So I click send it away, and then I could say call office when you arrive. So I can enhance the message. Okay, click send and away it goes. I could also kill a tree. So if I click print, okay, I can print it as a work order. Now, just like we had different styles of proposals, you can have different styles of work orders. So, here's a generic style, okay, with where the bill goes, where the work is done, scope of work, anything the equipment at that location, so it tells me everything that we know about, and anything that was pre-quoted. Now, you don't have to show all this. This is just demo, so I'm kind of showing everything. I could also specify which piece of equipment I'm working on. So let's say I'm just working on this one piece of equipment. Well, now I'm going to print a work order, and instead of showing all the equipment, I'm just going to show the one piece of equipment that I'm servicing on this call. Okay, now, by the way, also those work orders that you print, you can, kill the tree, or I could email the work order, and again, it gets attached as a PDF to an email, so I would send it to my employee, my technician, see attached work order. This is also good if you're dealing with subcontractors that you don't have control over, don't have our app, and you want to send them an external email with a PDF attached work order. Now, the best way to communicate is not any of those methods. The best way is via our field app. So again, I'm going to fire up the camera here for a minute. So this is a tablet, and I'm going to go in, and what you see on the screen is a real tablet that we're working off of, not just a little slideshow here. And I'm going to turn the camera back off. So you'll see it's firing up Abe Lincoln's tablet. Now again, this is phone or tablet, Apple or Android. So you can use iPhones, iPads, iPad minis. And the only difference is the amount of stuff you see on the screen. Now, color coding. We use color coding to mean certain things. And you can actually change the colors, but these are the defaults. Black is completed. Gray with a line through it is canceled. Green is on site. Blue is in the future. Dark blue is confirmed in the future. Yellow is tentative. Okay, and then we've got a few others acknowledged. Now also you see red. Abe Lincoln has not turned in his time for yesterday for whatever reason, So that's going to pop up on your dispatch board in red to say this is overdue. You know, his data is missing. So it's going to show up on your screen in red, and it's also going to show up in his tablet in red. So that's a call from yesterday, was scheduled for 1, and he's never filled it in. Now, even though he didn't fill in the call for yesterday, he did fill in the call for this morning. So I'm going to touch that, and it's going to fire up what we call our appointment. So it's got the date time it was scheduled. So it was scheduled at 8. He actually arrived early at 7:47. Okay, it was pre-quoted, so this was the amounts that were quoted. Now, this particular demo, I'm showing prices, but you may, if you're collecting a check, you need to see prices. But if you're not, you could hide it. There's a profile per person, what they're allowed to see and do. So I go to Abe Lincoln, and there's a configuration, many things for Abe. How many days to show him ahead in the past and in the future? What information? He can see customer, location, equipment, charges, cost, dollars. So he can see a lot of information. Okay, but you can actually specify and limit what a guy sees. So if you don't want a guy to see dollars, you don't have to let him see dollars. So let's say he's done on this job. He's going to punch out. So it punched him out at 2:21. Now, if you allow him to, maybe he forgot to punch out. So you could allow him to touch this and override it. So let's say instead of 2:21, he really finished at 12:21. Okay, so that's 4.57 hours, and I had it round up. Now then he can put what he did. He can do voice input, he can type it in on his phone, or we also have something called shorthand. So if I clicked replace cable, okay, and then I could put more information. It was chewed by mouse or whatever, okay, and then I could put more detail. It was we replaced ballast or whatever, so he did several things. You can also have overtime, travel, lunch. You can have codes set up. These are from various other demos I've done. He did raking, or he was traveling, or whatever codes you want, you can put in. Similarly, I've got other codes, holiday, down for repair. It failed the test. Whatever the story is, you can have different information you're gathering from the field. Once I save this, it gets saved to the local device. Then if we have internet connection, it's saved to the server. So in my demo here, my device is connected up to the internet. So now back in the office, that call went to black. So you have virtually instant two-way communication between guys in the field and people in the office without them calling in to check in and out. Now back on Abe Lincoln, he's done with this call. Now he's going to go to the next call. So he's going to punch in on this call, and we're going to record the date and time, and we're going to save that. And again, you'll see it says saved, then it says save to server, because now if you're in a basement or in a dead zone and don't have internet coverage, it's saved on the device, and later when you get in coverage area, you can sync it up. So that data back here, now you see Abe Lincoln is punched in at ABC Building 1 at 2:24. Now, if the guy forgot to punch in, he can adjust this. He could go in and say, "Oh, gee, I really got here at 1:30 or whatever." Okay, so Now, you may not allow a tech in the field to do that. Some of our clients do. Some force them to punch in a timely manner. They want to train the technicians to punch in a timely manner. Okay, and if they don't, they have to call the office. So I'm going to save that. Now, let's say we want to see, well, show me the equipment that's at this site. So I could go to my equipment page tab and see all the equipment that's at the site. And I can see the particular piece of equipment I'm supposed to work on. So I could go into that, and then I've got a whole profile of that brand, model, install date, whatever. And maybe it's not in area 222 anymore. They've moved this to area 333. Okay, and maybe the serial number was incomplete. So I'm going to update the serial number of that unit. So a guy in the field is doing that. That data, if we go to the call back here, okay, you're going to see that. And if we go to that location and we look at all the equipment out there and look at this piece of equipment, you see we've got the new area and the new serial number. So we've got instant two-way communication in detail from the office to the field. Now let's say the guy's out there and there's another piece of equipment that we didn't know about. If he's allowed to, now this is all security based, he could be allowed to add a new piece of equipment. So he clicks the plus sign and add. One thing he wouldn't be allowed to do is delete a piece of equipment. He could mark it as inactive, but generally we don't let a guy in the field delete it. He can just mark it as inactive. Now suppose we want to take some pictures. A lot of our clients will take pictures before and after they do the job. So we're going to take a picture, and I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to take a picture of the wall here. And then that picture, I'm going to save it, and that picture is now part of this call. And now it's not just a picture. Now notice also it came back to the office here. That picture that I took on my tablet, we save and we use Dropbox as a mechanism to store pictures. It's very efficient because the picture went from my tablet up to the cloud and then from the cloud back to my workstation. And now that's not just a picture, but it's a picture with the name of the job and the service call number. It's very important. It's not just a serial number. Okay, so that picture becomes part of the job. Now again, let's say we want to put in some charges or change a charge. I can add a new charge or change it. So let's just say instead of material, I'm going to change this. Instead of $777, I'm going to change the price on this to be $555. Okay. Then I'm going to add a new piece of another part that I used on the job. So I'm just going to click add a charge. Now I could scan the charge if I have something barcoded, or I could select it from a list, or if I click the magnifying glass, I could, so I'm just going to pick a digital thermostat that I have. So it came up with a cost and a sell price. And again, you can hide the prices. If you don't want your guys certain guys to see prices, you can hide them, or you can hide them from everyone. So I've just added that as a part on this call in the field. Now, let's say we're done. We're going to punch out on this job. So we're punching out at 2:29, and we were there 0.98 hours, which rounds off to 1 hour, and it came in completed. So, and then I could put what we did. You know, we replaced power supply, and you know, installed new thermostat. or whatever we did, and save that information. Now I want to get signatures. Okay, so I could have the customer sign. So, let's say the customer Fred signs. Then I'm going to have my technician sign. Okay, don't have to, but let's say Abe Lincoln's going to sign this baby. Now, a lot of our clients do that, have the information go back to the field and then front to the office, from the field to the office, and then in the office they review it. So I would say most of our clients that are in the commercial world, doing commercials, sending a bill, somebody in the office reviews to make sure it's done thoroughly right, they didn't miss some parts or whatever. If we're picking up a check, we can't do that. Okay, so if we're picking up a check, we can take this bottom line amount, so in this case this invoice is for $1,091, and I can then copy that amount to a payment app. We don't actually store credit cards, we don't want the liability. So if you have a mobile payment thing, such as a Square or Triangle or Blue Pay, there are many of them, the app has you put in the price, and so we just cut and paste from our bottom line into the app, whatever payment app you're using. Now then, so you actually collect the payment using the payment app, some third-party payment. I could also send a receipt to the customer with or without prices. So this is an email in the field. I'm going to send this email from demo company to Fred for this job. So here's the customer, here's the building, here's the time, we're scheduled for 3, we actually arrived early, we finished, blah, blah, blah. Here's what we used, here's the bottom line, here's the customer signature, here's the technician's signature, and any pictures we took. Now, you don't have to attach all this. You could say, no, I don't want to, even though I have a picture, maybe if you don't want to share it with the customer, you don't have to, or you don't want to share the technician's signature, you don't have to. So just got the customer signature and a picture. So I click send and away it goes. Now that's going from the device in the field right to the customer. Now, all that information that we have done in the field is getting sent back to the office. So this information that we've got, now that call has gone to black because we've completed it. So back here in the office, the call went to black. Okay, and then you can see it, and you can see the charges, and there's the digital thermostat we added in the field, and a few other things. This call was just one guy, Abe Lincoln, but a call can have multiple resources on it. Okay, so let's say I want to go in and add Abe Lincoln and George Washington and Truck 22 and a Bobcat. So this is one call with multiple resources. I could even have multiple calls. So today I have all these resources. I could book to come back again another day. I could come back tomorrow, or I could come back Saturday. And Saturday, I'm just going to have Abe Lincoln and the Bobcat. So each day you can have a different list of resources. Suppose I have a big installation job. Okay, well, that's going to take multiple days. So here I've got a job at the Barrington Public Library. I could set up multiple appointments. I could say, well, starting October 6th and running through the 27th, and we're not going to work Saturday or Sunday. I'm going to have Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and a backhoe and a bucket truck. So I've got, and a subcontractor. So I've got 5 resources this time So now those are all booked. So if I go look at my schedule boards, I see that those resources are booked out all the way through October 22nd. Now this looks like it's one big long appointment, but these are actually separate appointments. So let's say George Washington's not available on October 7th. Okay, I could take him off this appointment. Okay, so now you see that one day he's not going to be out at this job. And maybe he's taking, I'm going to change the status, and he's going to be on vacation that day. He's got a one-day vacation. So you can use this to book in advance big jobs. We also have what we call copying, where we can copy today's, if you don't plan ahead, you just plan day to day, we can copy today to tomorrow. Okay. You can also have events, like we have a client that does snow plowing, and when it snows, they need to, they copy and create 500 calls because they're going to build 500 people for snow plowing. You can also set up service contracts. So if you have anybody that you bill by the month, by the quarter, by the year, you could set it up as a service contract. So I'm just going to go in and take out a couple of, so here's a service contract. I can delete a couple of things off of this. Okay, so now I can delete the contract. Okay, so now I'm going to make a new contract, and the contract is going to be for ABC Building 1. And this contract is Diamond Service, whatever that means. And the contract's going to start, let's say, today, and it's going to run through 2017. So it's a 2-year contract. So I've just entered in a contract. Now I can say this contract is going to cover these pieces. It could cover everything, or it could only cover certain pieces of equipment. So there's 6 pieces of equipment at this site, but this contract only covers 3 of them. Then, as part of the contract, I could set up some kind of preventative maintenance schedule or planned maintenance schedule. So, for example, I could go in here and say, well, I want my my service department to go out and do clean and check, or a PM, or do maintenance contract, and I'm going to go out every, let's say, 3 months, and I want my first call to be around October 15th. So this is a 2-year contract with quarterly visits. So it's planned my visits. It's planned 8 visits over the next 2 years. Now these dates are just target. I'm not necessarily going on the 15th. That's just my target date. So back on my dispatch board, here we were showing the emergency calls. When I'm done with the emergencies, I could look at any planned maintenance due within the next 30 days and sort this by date. Okay, so that's that call we just booked for October 15th. So even though it's booked, or it's planned for October 15th, I could say, well, gee, we're going to be on site doing something else today, so we're going to take that planned service and put it on here for 4 o'clock today. So I've added that as a second call at the same site for today. Because obviously you want to, if you're going out there and do a repair, and there's a PM due in the near future, if at all possible, if the guy has the skill and it's not too early, you want to take care of it. Now, even though we're going out quarterly, we may want to set up, back on these service contracts, we may want to set it up for monthly billing or quarterly billing or some other billing cycle. So I could bill this call monthly and set up to automatically bill them, monthly, and I'm going to charge them $333 per month. And so it would generate recurring billings off of that. So those are a lot of the highlights. Oh, excuse me, I forgot one thing here. One of the things that we do behind the scenes, when I was punching in and out of these jobs, we were recording the GPS coordinate of where somebody was. So when Abe Lincoln punched in on this job today at 1:30, we can say, well, where was he really when he punched in? And I'm actually in that building right there. So this is real data that happened off that tablet. So it's probably within about 15 feet of where I am actually sitting. Now you don't have to do that, and we're only tracking the coordinates when a guy punches in and out, but it does become legal evidence that you were there on site. So let's say there's no customer around, or you're on a rooftop, or you're in the middle of the highway doing some work. It does become evidence that's where you were when you say, you were where you said you were. Also, we also do the same kind of mapping back on the tablet. If I go to the location information and I click map here, it'll map this location using whatever. Now, if I'm on a Google device, it'll usually use Google Maps. If I'm on a Apple device, it can use Apple Maps or whatever you're. So we're taking advantage of other apps on your device, your mapping app and your payment app. So it's just mapped that on the device, and then I can get directions and all the other wonderful modern tools we've got. So, and if I'm on a phone, I could click call and it would dial. If I'm on a tablet, that's not, you don't have cell coverage, so it probably isn't going to call there. So, another kind of nifty feature we have is we can customize these screens. So, like here, user text 08. If you have administrator privileges, I can customize this. So if I change a field to be something different, so let's say I'm going to change user text 07 to be 1001 demo. Okay. So now if I close this and go back in, that's going to say 1001 demo. So I've customized that field. Well, that information, when a guy refreshes on his tablet, that gets sent out to our field app. So you're able to basically customize the field app. We can also turn off fields. We've got a lot of features, but not everybody uses everything. So as we install, we go through and we'll customize, turn on and turn off. So right there's the 10-01 demo. So you see those words I put in on our desktop app got pushed out to the field app. We also have spell check, so here system, okay, spell check, and it's going to, change that. Those are the highlights. Does anyone have any questions? I'd like to leave time for question and answer here. If you could just state your name and what your question is, be happy to address it. Any questions from anyone? Well, great. Thank you for your time, and we will follow up with you to schedule a follow-up demonstration or answer any questions that come up after. Thanks for your time and have a good day. My name is Jay Albrecht. You're welcome to call our main number, 630-355-8188. I'll be available the rest of the day and be happy to answer your question, or if I can't, we'll get you to get the answer from our tech team. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.